Tuesday, November 4th, as we march on into November here. The time has changed. We're seeing certainly the days are getting a little shorter all the way till the winter equinox or the winter solstice, pardon me. We've got a lot going on in the weather. We've got wind advisories and warnings up and down the coast from about San Francisco northward or Santa Cruz northward. But big winds, like wind gusts up around the Pacific Northwest, my friends up in Washington and Oregon and Northern California, 50, 60, 70 miles per hour. So that is tonight, the wind. So with the wind coming, think about, I know I was riding my bike around the neighborhoods and a lot of Halloween decorations are still kind of lingering. You want to get them down, especially in the next 12 hours or so. This is a complex of weather systems. Here is California here. This is, again, they're calling it an AR, right? Atmospheric river. It's a big storm. That's what we call them. And this one, they're calling it an AR5. We're calling it, on a scale of 1 to 10 for the Pacific Northwest, this is an 8.5. Let's call it something, give it a number. But so you're going to hear AR, but it's just a big storm. And there's a lot of moisture. I mean, you can see the moisture is very prevalent at the higher latitude. That's where the heaviest rain is going to fall. Rainfall accumulations could go 5 to 8 inches up in the Washington, Oregon area. The winds could gust to 70 miles an hour in the area between Northern California and Seattle. And it's just going to be a good one, and it's going to last. We also have king tides that are going to last through Thursday. For the next few days or the next few mornings, we're going to see these extremely high tides, which causes some local flooding. But you combine king tides with 70 mile an hour south winds and a storm, a low pressure center, because the storm can actually lift the sea surface up as well, believe it or not. Like a hurricane can create a storm surge. An extratropical storm like this, kind of the lower pressure, which makes sense, actually will give you a little bit of expansion on that marine or on the sea surface. So you actually increase the high tides, if you will, because of the storm alone. But then you add the king tides and the south winds, and you got something. Oh, and by the way, big surf, giant surf along the coast, 15 feet easily as we go into Thursday. Thursday will be the biggest day of surf. Again, there's the weather system. Let's come in a little closer and just take a peek at Mount Shasta, its system moving in. I think we can put a little loop on this. I like to do this just because it kind of gives you an idea of flow. This is Northern California. This is from Wairika, and you'll see the clouds. That's a southerly wind direction. That's Mount Shasta off in the distance. And you can just see the atmosphere moistening up Northern California. And this is the area, this is the zone, not the cutoff, but the zone where the rain is going to be the heaviest and the winds are going to be the strongest. North from Mount Shasta or Cape Mendocino north. So the rainfall potential, Wairika or Eureka could see 4 inches of rain. At one point they had it up. I've seen estimates of 6 inches of rain. This is through the November 10th through Monday. So this is a pretty decent accumulation period, but you see the rain dry line too, right? So you guys in LA are like, whatever, Bill. The only thing that happens for you folks in LA is that, dude, air quality sucks today. Again, this is 2 days in a row of kind of spare the air protocol there because of the shallow inversion. We'll get to LA. This will help. This system up here will help the air quality down there. But you can see the rain, the dry line basically from about Santa Maria north. And it does have the signatures of a classic large subtropical moisture laden storm because the moisture plume is further north, right? It's not like a front that's going to spread down the coast. It's like that fire hose thing we always talk about. Okay. So we move forward. There's the visible satellite this morning. Fog along the coast, not so much in Santa Cruz. I went to Santa Cruz yesterday surfing. The fog never broke. And I realized I'm a fair weather surfer. I really like warm weather. I like the sun out. I don't know. I mean, it was fun. Swell was kind of junky, but it was foggy all day. Clearing down there now. Here is the forecast for 72 hours. And this is just a National Weather Service product, but I wanted to point out that this line right? That's, Puget Sound all the way down to right there. And that is the extent, that is the focus of this next very strong storm right there. And then you can see how quickly it dries out. Yeah. So we're in good shape for rain. We're going to get more. I think the rainfall in Oregon and Washington more than beneficial. Like for California, Cape Mendocino South, beneficial rainfall for northern and central California. I think you go further north, you're going to start getting into the nuisance stuff because you're going to get some pretty good accumulations up to, what did I say, 5 inches, 8 inches of rain over a couple of days. Here's Truckee. Again, just showing you the different climatic zones in California. We went from Mount Shasta, now we're in Truckee. And this area will have snow. Snow levels are really high, which again is indicative of a system that is laden with atmospheric moisture, right? Laden with atmospheric moisture. And so it's warm. It's a warmer system. Let's take a loop on that too. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you got your Halloween decorations down. That wasn't just that's pretty, isn't it? I think that's Prosser Reservoir. But I'd get them down. I'd get them down quick. Here is Golden Gate Bridge. Beautiful day, right? Ooh, hello. Surf's pretty good size along the coast. We'll get to that. What else can we pick out? There's Angel Island. There's Alcatraz Island. Right. Beautiful. San Francisco's awesome. And then here is Sunset District, or Richmond District, pardon me. And then here is Golden Gate Park, Panhandle. And just an interesting, that's from Sutro Tower. San Francisco today, you're going to go 67 degrees. Pretty warm. I thought that was a little warm. They had it at 68. I trimmed it down to 67, but they probably will go there. These are the high wind warnings late Tuesday tonight through Wednesday morning for Northern California and Washington, and Oregon. High wind warning, sustained winds to 50 miles an hour. Sustained at 50, that's a big deal. Gusts up to 60 or 70. And you'll often hear people say hurricane gusts winds, right? Oh, because 70 is close. 74 is the number from tropical storm to hurricane. But even if I had gusts, even if I said there's going to be gusts to 75 miles an hour, those aren't hurricane force winds. Hurricane force winds are sustained. There's a big difference between a gust, right, as you know, and a sustained wind. So it is impressive in Bandon and North Bend, Oregon, to see potential gusts of 60 to 70 miles an hour. But what's more impressive to me is sustained at 50. That's going to cause problems for sure for many people. And so that area, all the way south into California, up into McDowell, Mount Shasta, just right on the edge of those wind advisories, and then a storm warning offshore, which is a big deal. Storm warning just is like, don't even go out in a boat. The shipping containers will react to that for sure. The big containers coming in the gate. A storm warning's a big deal, and it's going to be aggressive, especially in that channel up around the gorge, up around the mouth of the Columbia River. That's a big port, right? So that's that area. That's going to probably shut it down pretty aggressively. Here are some of the wind forecasts. This is out of Sacramento. 30, 40, 40, 50. Again, this is National Weather Service product. I love it when you get stay away from outdoor things that could fall or blow over on you. I'm like, yeah. This is it. The green is the king tides. The green are the king tides. Yeah, gonna be R in it. I always tell this story. We'll get to the models. Remember, you can scrub. When I started in television, my English is, you can tell, right? I just talk. And it's not horrible. I communicate, but I communicate more just like you do, maybe, or probably not as well. But I got on TV, and TV back then, there was it's all there was to do was to watch it. So we had a lot of Stanford's down the way, Berkeley's over here, Hayward State's here, San Francisco State's here, San Jose State, and so every one of those has an English department. And back then, you were scrutinized every word you said on TV, on television. And so what I just did, that little mind game I just did is, farther kind of a thing. But you would be scrutinized. So I would get craziest letters. They're awesome people, but literally English departments went nuts. Because in the beginning, before the internet, and English is important, but before the internet, it was like, people didn't really talk like I talk now even. It was very formal and very, very precise. That's Franny, the dog. I'm not going to, somebody's coming. Okay, there's the king tide, and there's the storm warning. Okay. And then here is, hey, Francis. It's going to be one of those days. I'm not stopping. Normally I would stop and redo this. I'm not doing it again. Here is the dense fog advisory for Southern California. And this is of concern because you're getting bad air quality, and you've got some pretty mild or warm temperatures right there. So if we take a look at, I'm going to pull up the, this is PurpleAir. This is the air quality in LA. I'm going to take care of the dog. Bear with me. Hey, Franny. What's going on? What you doing? It's so fun. Where do you sit? Okay. All right. Thanks for bearing with me. Okay, literally. I hope anybody's left after that. This is so air quality, right? Los Angeles. That's not good. That's like the old days. It was like this yesterday. I don't think it'll be like that tomorrow. That inversion should get broken up with the strong onshore winds to the north. So even though those winds are going to be blowing 30, 40 in the Bay, San Francisco area, that'll trickle down and kind of mix out that inversion a little bit. These are the forecast highs for today. Nice fall day. It's going to start feeling like winter, though. This is the week. These are today's numbers. This is the week that we go, oh, yeah, where's that jacket? Where's that umbrella? Where are the gutters clean? That week where you go, oh, it's, right, it's no longer is it summer. Because we have these, again, I'll go, this is tomorrow, forecast highs. Yeah, it's going to be that big transition where we go, oh yeah, it's winter now, and you change over from, because we have really smooth summers in California, especially central southern, where like it was 80 degrees yesterday and the day before that and it's November, and it'll be more 70-degree readings as we go into, right. So we have these subtle ramps into winter, but when winter comes, man, it's like bam. And I think this will be our first gasp of winter. This is, can you hear Franny? She's fine. It's something about, Franny's a little dog. Lost Carl, the dog, who I loved, who's a big dog. Pam goes about a year ago, so we're getting a little dog. And I'm like, I never had a little dog, but let's give it a go. And I'm giving it a go, and she's awesome. Like, she really is. She's really like a cat, dog, monkey, horse. But she is like that sometimes. She just is. But it's the payback is she's cute as hell, right? So I kind of went through this thing in my head. I'm like, I think that that little dog's evolved to be really cute. Like, she has to be cute, or the cavemen would have killed her, right? She wouldn't have. That's why Chihuahuas are so damn cute. I mean, if you've ever been around one, like, they suck and they rule. I know, and I'm saying that my dad's a veterinarian, man. I grew up with animals. I love animals. I love Franny. So anyway, okay. So this is the wind forecast. This is a North American model. I just went right to it, didn't I? Here we are. Okay, and you're going to see the greens represent 30-mile-an-hour winds. This is this afternoon. See the reds? That's Gaiman right there. Those winds are 60 knot winds. Wow. And then that is Wednesday morning along the coast. So most of this along the coast, but you see San Francisco Bay in particular, Marin County, you're in that bullseye. So tomorrow morning, that's a big dose of wind in a highly populated area, if that verifies. So that's 12Z Wednesday, so that's Wednesday 5 a.m. So really windy Wednesday morning. Wow. That's interesting. So if you got Halloween decorations, get them down. And this that wind, that plug of jet streak or whatever that is comes in. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. That's a highly populated area, and those are big, big winds. So keep an eye on it, and then the winds die down. Okay, so that's the big takeaway here is we're talking about Tuesday evening late into Wednesday. Overnight Tuesday is into early Wednesday morning is the big wind, and then the rain begins. And we'll look for the rain right now. Here is sea level pressure and rainfall. Here we are Tuesday morning. And you can see a little bit of that rain. Most of it's wind for us, but a little bit of rain, us being Bay Area centered. And then there you see this is about Tuesday afternoon. So really, the Tuesday morning is about, or pardon me, Tuesday, hold on just a second. Let me back this up a little bit. I went backwards. Tuesday morning, right now, little something to the north. And then this thing loads up this afternoon into tonight. And that does coincide with the wind. Wow. That's pretty wet. Okay. So right there, that's the sweet spot. Now I loaded up a model for, and then there's some stuff after that. But this is the main event right here. 12Z Wednesday, so Wednesday 5 a.m. Okay. So let's move up the coast a little bit. Go up to Washington, Oregon. This is I want you to see the system. This is accumulation. So we'll get a feel for the spread. So there's, I know it's really small, sorry. That's you can see the moisture. You can see if you want to call it an AR, you can see that's all that moisture in the atmosphere. This is accumulation, and you see where it really targets. This is through Thursday afternoon. Look at that. So that's in that zone. We're talking, in those reds, we're talking 8 inches of rain, a half foot of rain, and that is just through Thursday afternoon. Coming a little closer. This is Pacific Northwest. Again, same thing. Just going to load up close. This is 12Z Wednesday. So interestingly enough, the moisture plume is south of Coos Bay, not north. They're going to get persistent rain in the Pacific Northwest, so that's where they get their big rain numbers. That's why they have flood watches and flood advisories. But the main chunk of this next system is going to be below that latitude. So we'll see it sort of start to stack in here, like 5 inches on the Oregon-California border by Thursday morning. Wow, almost a half foot. And then you can see it, how aggressive it is. Look at these numbers up in Seattle. So that's Pacific Northwest accumulation. Here comes us. Sorry, I keep doing that. I'm used to being in the Bay Area. So this is just accumulating. So this is as of, I like this map because you can do this. In other words, this is a forecast, but it's not really timing out like, oh, here comes the front, here comes the rain. It's like this is how much rain that's been adding up each day. And so what this allows me to do is go, because the models are going to be, the timing's going to be off. Okay, sorry, they just are. It's going to be off. It'll be close, but it's not going to be exact. This is fairly exact in that it's like, oh, that's the footprint over 3 days. Or in this case, the footprint over through tomorrow morning. But you see some significant rain up in Northern California before we get to the wind event. And then this is the main event here. And you'll see it really unload here. This is through Thursday morning. So if I'm doing outdoor work in Northern California, I'm like, I don't think I am. I think I get a cup of coffee, go down to the diner and get a slice of cake, a pie. I always want to be that guy. I love pie. I always want to be that guy who oh yeah, I'm gonna run out to the diner for lunch and go hang out, get a cup of coffee, get some eggs and bacon, and then get a slice of apple pie. Never done it. Never sat at I love apple pie, but I just never done that. And that's every movie, that's every book, that's everything, right? Guys sit at diners and get slice apple pie. Here is the system now. This is the national map, and you can see the jet stream. That's a good system, by the way. When you're looking at weather systems in Met meteorology school, atmospheric science, you're like, oh yeah, that's the deal, right? That is the deal. So we just looked at all this stuff. We just looked at is the stuff that I'm going to say it. Real meteorologists look at. Most of the meteorologists most of the TV weather people don't look at as much stuff as you just looked at. I'm not busting. They probably don't have time. They're doing other things. But you're seeing what the guys down at I said this the other day. The guys down at SFO, the airport guys are looking. I mean, they got more complex data stuff than that. But my point being that this is it. There's more, but this is the basic idea. If you want more, just Google search, and you can go look at soundings and figure out how to figure out the soundings, and you can figure out how to get more granular. And that is in fact what many realize, like guys down at PG&E, those meteorologists, they really dig deep. But from all intents and purposes, you are you're looking at the same things. So I think that's empowering, because then when like PG&E goes, oh, we're going to shut off power because of the winds, you're like, oh, I get it. Right. I think you're going to see some. I think we're going to see some power shutoffs, especially in maybe Marin County tomorrow morning. I'm not sure what the criteria is. These are the forecast models for 6 to 10 day rainfall accumulation. I'm not sure what the protocol is. Earthquakes. What the protocol is for when they decide it's the wind, how much fuel moisture there is. This is for fire concerns, right? We're going to shut down the power, even then. You can have branches down. I think when all said and done, this is a wind event. In the Pacific Northwest, it's a rain event. And in the Sierra, it's a rain event, wind event with snow above 7,000 feet. Mount Shasta, you'll get plenty of snow. Mount Shasta could get, a couple feet of snow from this. We'll see. Here are the earthquakes from today. Whoops, sorry. Right there. Pretty good loop. And again, these are all above 2.5 now. And ooh, that was a little earthquake. Let's see what they got going there. Let's see what that is. Hang on. Oh, that's out. It's a Tonopah. 6 miles deep, 2.9. So again, earthquakes all the time, every day, all day. You and I have not pulled this map up yet and not seen a load of earthquakes. These are all the earthquakes just today in the last 24 hours. So the Earth's moving, man. This is, I left this up here. This is Surfline forecast model. And I wanted you to see, this is Thursday. Big swell along the coast, the whole swell. It's not going to be as big down. You'll see in the models, it's not as big further south, but it's going to be big. Like Mavericks is going to go, but remember Thursday, what's going on Thursday? A bunch of rain and still some wind. That wind it takes a couple of days for the ocean to recover from a storm warning, from wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. So there'll be folks trying to surf out at Mavericks. There'll be folks in Santa Cruz surfing, but it's going to be difficult to get the waves are going to be very squirrely. And you're still under the influence of the king tides through Thursday. Here's a high tide. Here's an example of the king tide. It's kind of going low now. This is Steamer Lane in Santa Cruz. I was down here yesterday. I got down on the lower tide, but swell looks pretty clean, doesn't it? And by the way, you're like, oh, I'm looking west. That's Monterey Bay Peninsula. That's a Monterey. This is Monterey Bay, but that's Monterey's over here. Up here, that Monterey, like way over there. This is like, I don't even know what's right there. Is that Fort Ord? Yeah, maybe it is. But my point is, you're facing south. The waves are doing that thing that I always talk about. See if the waves are coming from over here, they're coming this way. But when they hit the point, they start to turn in. And so now you're facing almost due south right there. It's good swell though, see it? It's going to be bigger. Tomorrow's, Wednesday, Thursday is going to be good size. Thursday's the max day. When this tide gets low, that's going to be a 8-foot wave. When the tide drops, you see a guy right there. But when the tide's high, swell's deceptive because when the tide's high, it makes it look not that big. Here is Malibu. I show Malibu all the time because it's not the birthplace of surfing at all, but it's really one of the petri dishes of surfing culture. Mickey Dora, Not Carlson, is it Lance Carson? God, I forgot his name. Gidget, right? Moondoggy, Tube Steak, all these guys. This was the place. This is where Hollywood discovered Malibu. Here is Mount Shasta. Yeah, that's how that looks. And then here is Mount Whitney. And this is how, by the way, Southern California, you guys, we talked about your air quality. That's all we got for you, man. It's gonna be pretty nice. I talked to a guy out surfing yesterday. He had a good point. He goes, man, I'm gonna make a run down to Santa Barbara, because you get inside Point Conception on a big storm like this to the north. You get far enough south, the winds aren't messing things up, and that swell's coming into a clean weather field, or ocean fetch field, and so it's not a bad plan to go down there and get the waves. This is Yosemite Falls, and beautiful. A little bit of wind up there. Don't see it in the trees, but you sure see it on the water come down. World's tallest falls, English teacher thing, highest waterfall in North America. Beautiful. And then we're moving along here. Birds, big bear birds they were back in the nest the other day, Shadow and Jackie, maybe getting ready to start getting going on some kids or some nesting again. The water looks really low, doesn't it, at Big Bear Lake? That looks really low. I hadn't, you know what I hadn't noticed? I guess it's a reservoir, right? I never thought about that. Huh. Because usually the water's way up in here, right up to the edge of that thing. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on the eagles if they come back. And then this is that air quality day. It is fog, for sure. LA is going to go 72 degrees today. It is fog in LA, but there is also that air quality alert where they're basically going, don't burn, don't use two-stroke engines, and so forth. So looks like a pretty nice day down there, but the air quality not so good. They would tell you not to run. All these guys right at the coast, air quality probably not as bad as you would expect. Okay, so thanks for putting up with Franny. That explains a lot. And there was a time when I'd just shut her down and go, okay, I got to redo it and do it again. And I'd kind of get her a dog bone or something. And I'm like, yeah, it's just what it is. It's part of the package, man. Okay, see you back here.